was.
On the way, on road.
En route, yes, en route. No.
Okay, it's good to see all of you. Had an unusual cold week. And with lots of rain, but,
Like the same week I did.
it does.
You like it, how y'all like the snow out there?
I didn't get no snow.
We had some sleet.
Said it's
And
supposed to
yesterday
snow?
was sleet. There was sleet yesterday.
I didn't see that.
Um,
They got snow up in the mountains. That's also people posted.
Up in Gainesville and up
Did you see
in
Street?
there. So.
Don't lose my space, cause that's what I'm moving.
But it's time now for change, so it'll get better. We are glad to see all of you and
Oh, thank you, baby.
want to remember those in need. Marie, this is a long story, but we need to pray for Marie McCoy. She is having trouble with her head, which you know she has vertigo anyway, but she's having problems with her head. And then yesterday, she got hit in the head, and today she's just really not doing good, so.
Down there messing in that house they bought, had all kind of junk is what happened.
Something fell on her head.
Yeah.
But irregardless, she's still, we need to pray for
I'm sorry to hear
her.
that.
Place is full of stuff.
She was calling her ENT doctor to talk to him to see what needs to be done. But she said she was trying to get ready to come, and then she said, well, I can't go because I can't even drive. I couldn't see to drive straight, you know, she's busy. So remember her, let's remember her. Pray for her as the doctors, what they decide what to do and how to treat her. Any others?
Don't pray for Miss Anna. Y'all got it in here. but
Somebody
just
was
lift her
told me
up.
that.
She was down Friday, and she had been wearing her hearing aid, so I think she don't wanna hear me. But, she was down, her friend that fell, that we lifted up in prayer a couple of weeks ago, she, had a brain bleed, and they took her off of the machines because there was no brain activity. And their daughter is the only daughter, and, they had no other children, and the father, her friend's husband, is still in the hospital, so she was down about that, but she was just down Friday.
Marie, comes here. A friend of hers, he's a produce man. He's in the Griffin Hospital with corona and not doing good at all. They put him on a ventilator yesterday, so just need, I don't know what his name is. She might tell preacher. Probably she won't.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. My ex-boss, Kim Talbot, her dad passed away, and his funeral's today.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what his first name, but he just passed away.
Okay. I heard late yesterday afternoon that Scott Coleman passed away, so.
Scott Coleman.
That's what I heard yesterday.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's
He's
a
a
longtime family in Jackson.
Artist and what have you. Doesn't
He's what?
live right over there, not far from me.
That's what I heard yesterday. And
Oh my.
he's a family history fixture in Jackson. His father had businesses and
I know I hadn't seen him in a while.
pray for the district. The general church has, the general church has authorized to have assembly if it's gonna be possible, but it's very touching apparently at this point. We had a,
They're supposed to decide by March 16th.
right, board,
Board meeting.
make the, yeah. had asked the Sunday school board meeting yesterday, and he was talking to us about Sunday school coming, which will be during that time, so trying to make plans toward that way, but.
Remember the Carsons, I talked to them, they're not well right now. They want to come, but they're scared right now. What's going on?
Several. And Courtney is doing really good. She is.
Was Roseanne just getting back from the funeral? It's Jeff's mama.
She did pass away.
Yeah, they're wore out, at least I
Oh,
talked
my
to them.
God.
Karen's sister Deborah asked me this morning to pray for her. Her shoulder is bothering her. But it was a good thing because she was holding the baby too long, she said, and 15 pounds on her shoulder was really hurting her.
I
So,
guess so.
so yes, for prayer. But I also want to pray for Bobby still, to give him wisdom, some of the stories he tells me, and
Yeah.
I won't go into it any more than that.
And one more thing, we're supposed to have a meeting before the, what is that, the Board of Commissioners?
Zoning commission.
Yes.
On the
Or-
11th. So I have signed up to speak because I worked near Rock Quarry for 15 years, so hopefully we'll get to do this. We're about 2 miles away from it, but still, that's pretty close, you know?
Yeah, it's over next to Jimmy Blankenship.
Very
Yeah.
close to Mr.
If
Blankenship.
enough of the community and people on that
Yeah.
side will
Yeah.
get, be
Hopefully we
there,
can defeat it.
because that, you know, they were gonna put one out there at our place, and, I mean, everybody out there went, and
Yeah.
it was defeated.
So hopefully we will. So
Of course, now we've got the warehouse.
Yeah, I'm
Just,
gonna take a warehouse and then dump trucks.
yeah, right.
So we want to pray about that, you know? I mean, even though it probably, I mean, we probably will be okay, my neighbors will suffer, you
Yeah.
know?
I mean,
don't want that
it's-
to happen. There's some people, I mean, their yard is right there.
But the one good thing about it is, you know, I'm on their Facebook page and there's like 1,500 members of the group. But a lot of people ask for prayer and said God's in control and this type of thing. So you do see a lot of posts praising the Lord.
We're supposed to go on the 11th.
I've talked to a
Okay.
couple of
Yeah,
commissioners.
if y'all want to come out there and stand out there with you, red shirt on, go and stop the rock, if there's more people, we want to scare Mr. Sprayberry on back to where he is. Wherever he is.
Okay, let's, pray and remember, we've got lots of needs today, but, remember the class and remember the pastor, they'll be traveling this week, and pray for them. And pray for him this morning with, his, message. He's got us, some of us pumped up with what he posted on Facebook, is that where I saw it, but, so we're anxious to see what's gonna happen in service today. Darwin,
Father, we're so thankful today for your many blessings. Thankful for the good week we've had. And just bless us as we study our lessons. Bless those who was brought to mention a while ago. I can't even begin to mention them all, but all these needs, Lord, there's so many of them. We need to pray for our president and vice president, all the ones that are ahead of all of us. Lord, just bless them all, help them to do right about everything. Just bless us, each one of us that's in here this morning. Bless them. Help us to live for you and do what you have us to be for Christ's sake. Amen.
Amen.
okay. Our lessons have been, correlating, it seems. Today we're studying, you know, the last Sunday was a week ago, a couple. Anyway, recently we've been on miracles, and today we've got 2 miracles again that we're going to talk about. But the title of the lesson is The Lord of the Dispossessed, and our scripture is Mark chapter 7, verses 24 through 37. And our study today takes us to Tyre. Is that correct, Tyre?
Tyree?
Tyre. The backyard, which is the backyard of the Pharisees and the scribes. Tyre is the Gentile territory there, And Jesus is going there to abolish the boundary set between the Jews and the Gentiles. The Gentile people were the wrong people, and you know, of course, we are the Gentile people, but they were the wrong people, and furthermore, they were the wrong kind of people to share the good news with. Now today we've got an advantage over this because we know that salvation is extended to the whole world, regardless of their race, their nationality, or where they come from. You know, there are people, in fact we were alluding to some of that earlier before class in discussion about how people react to people, things that they say and do. And, you know, when it comes down to the end, we've been redeemed by the Lord and are serving Him. So, thinking about the Jews and the Gentiles and the wrong people, the Gentile people being the wrong people, and they didn't want Jesus to minister to them, what might be considered the wrong territory to go to today to share the gospel, if any? Where would it be wrong to go?
China?
Okay. That was quick, okay. And I'll ask you, any others? Okay,
Is
why,
there a wrong place to go?
that's what I was gonna say, why would it be wrong to go to China?
I guess more, not necessarily a wrong place, but a,
But there were more opposition to it, I suppose. Mhm.
not as welcoming.
Like Saudi Arabia.
Well,
I'm going to Ecuador.
in thinking about China, I think about the underground church in China. There's lots and lots of Christians there that, of course, they can't get out because it's the wrong thing to do. They can't get out and let people know they're Christians.
There are sanctioned, state authorized Christian churches
Okay.
in China. We actually were supposed to go to one, but here's the problem is the state decides when they can open, when they can't, when they can meet, when they can't, things of that nature.
Wake up, America. Wake up.
Right. And so, they're, you know, in a country of 1.2 billion plus people, just 10% is 102 million Christians. And they say, you know, can you be anywhere from 10 to 30% of China is a Christian believer. So, if it's on the high end, it's equal to the population of the United States.
Wow.
So, it's amazing. Then Jesus left the vicinity of Tyre and went down to Sidon, down to the Sea of Galilee, and to the region of Decapolis. There some people brought him a man who was deaf and could hardly talk. And they begged Jesus to place his hand on him. And he took him aside, away from the crowd. Jesus put his fingers on the man's ears. Then he spit and touched the man's tongue. And he looked up to heaven, and with a deep sigh said to him, Ephphatha, which means be open. As at this, the man's ears were opened, his tongue was loosened, and began to speak plainly. Jesus commanded them not to tell anyone, but the more he did so, the more they kept talking about it. People were overwhelmed with amazement. He has done everything well, they said. He even makes the deaf hear and the mute speak.
Amen.
There's the lesson right there, in a nutshell. But remember a couple lessons back with the miracles and with Jesus traveling, he didn't want anybody to know then, and we talked about that he didn't want anyone to know who that he was there. Well, today we see that Jesus, once again, doesn't want anyone to know of his arrival, and he intends to be there incognito. That's what he wants, that's what's he intending. But of course, we know better, that's not what's going to take place because the word spread and people were there. And the commentary writer that I was using said that perhaps Jesus wanted to have some time alone and he wanted to withdraw from all the crowds and thus another reason he went to the Gentile region because they weren't supposed to know and didn't know about him. And yet, because they thought, the writer indicated that they thought perhaps he wanted to pray because he knew what lay ahead of him, the suffering and the agony that he would be going through and the death that would follow. But that could be one reason too that he didn't want anyone to know, but yet the people, news travels fast, and he everywhere he went, and just think about that. Can you imagine everywhere he goes? He was immediately surrounded. He had people around him always asking questions, wanting his attention, wanting answers, wanting to do this, and wanting to be taught. I can stop right here. It's hard for us to imagine someone like that. But we can think about closest to me as far as would be the district superintendent. Everywhere he goes, or it used to be, I don't know about now, but there are always people pulling at him, people wanting his attention, wanting to be the one that be his focus and all of that, no matter where he's at. And then if he's in meetings and what have you that he needs to devote his attention to, they're clamoring for his attention. Our pastor is that way to some degree too, because there's always somebody after him and wanting his attention and doing this and trying to pull him aside. But I think the most prominent known one that we could relate to would be the President of the United States, our past President of the United States. Everywhere he went, there were people wanting to get to him. Of course, he had protection that they could not. But that's just a small, probably insignificant amount compared to what Jesus had. It didn't matter where he went. News spread far and wide about his healing power, about his time that he would spend, his teaching. So wherever he went, he never had a moment to himself. This was why he would not run away, but go away sometimes because he needed some time alone. Now, some of us especially can relate to that because you get so caught up in people being around all the time and people wanting this and people wanting that you just want to say, go away. I'm going to pray. I'm going to do whatever I want to do. You just want some time alone. So Jesus never had this moment unless he went away by himself. But apparently that took place even in the Gentile territory. He didn't have any peace there because the word spread of what he could do. And his reputation had already went far and wide of how he could heal and people talk. And so it was here that this desperate woman, she was, all of our miracles, she was in desperation. And she came and begged him to heal her daughter. Sight unseen now. Remember the daughter, our other miracles, the people, Jesus either went to them or they were already there. She went to him believing he could heal her daughter, sight unseen. The child was somewhere, at home, I suppose, and she just knew that he could heal her of demon possession. And so she was desperate, and we talked about desperation several weeks ago too. She begged him to heal her daughter, to rid her of demon possession. So if you read verses 20 through 23 before that, there is much from Jesus there about to to the Pharisees about uncleanliness, and Bob finds that, I'll ask him to read it. 7 verses 20 through 23.
23. He went on, what comes out of a person is what defiles them. For it is from within, out of a person's heart, that evil thoughts come. Sexual immorality, theft, murder, adultery, greed, malice, deceit, lewdness, envy, slander, arrogance, and folly. All these evils come from inside and defile a person.
Okay. So we see there from, and now this is right before where we're at now today. Jesus had spoke to the Pharisees and told them this. And we see as he's teaching here, and we read that, it's not our outward appearance, you know, what some have to think they have to look just so, like they've stepped out of a fashion book or whatever. They would not dare go out without looking just a certain way. But it's not our outward appearance that matters. And it's not what we do when we even come to church, the rituals we go through. That's not what.
Later, she texted even came.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the problems.
It is not just for these people in these stories, but also